Well, hello, and thank you guys for joining us today for this HungerRush webinar, part of the PMQ webinar series. I'm Brian Hernandez, and I'm joined today by Ron Smallwood and Kevin Spriggs of HungerRush. We are going to stall for just a minute to let all those stragglers come in, but I don't want to punish you guys for being early and or on time. So, we're going to have a great session today. It's got a lot of informative information in there. And there is going to be a Q&A at the end. So make sure to submit your questions using your dashboard. So Ron, Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you all.
So again, I'm going to just kind of pull this up and get ready to go here in a minute. We do have a good group here. So honestly, at this point, I don't think we need to wait. Thank you guys for showing up today. So hello and welcome to the PMQ webinar series. I'm your host, Brian Hernandez, and today I'm joined by some great guest speakers, and we're going to learn how the HungerRush Customer Success team helps restaurateurs realize long-term success. Now, this webinar is going to be very informative, and as always, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. So submit your questions using the question tab on your dashboard, either on the left or right. I'm not sure where it's at on your computer. I'm going to moderate those questions and make sure that they get asked and answered. So I guess really the first question that we should answer is, who is HungerRush? Well, HungerRush is more than just a POS provider. The term POS is very exact. It's a point of sale system, as we all know. Now, this became kind of limiting because in reality, HungerRush does so much more than just sell POS hardware and software. In practice, they act as a branding partner, business advisor, tech expert, and they're connected deeply to the restaurant's day-to-day operations, such as online ordering, customer loyalty, merchant services, and the list is extensive and goes on. So in the interest of brevity, I won't name every single one, but we'll talk about those a little bit later. So why the change? When your mission changes, your brand needs to match up with that mission. So that's the reason for the change. They wanted to make sure that their brand is matching up with what they are actually providing for you and trying to help you with. So with that, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. First off, we have Ron Smallwood, Customer Success Manager for HungerRush. And we have Kevin Spriggs, Director of Project Management for HungerRush. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody.
So before we get started, I just wanted to do a brief rundown of what we're all going to learn today, aside from what HungerRush can do for your business. We're going to be talking about how COVID-19 changed how we work with customers on the back end and at the front of house, the learning curves and the path to success through this new normal, HungerRush's customer support program and what you can expect from them, also what's next on the horizon for HungerRush and also there for you. And we're going to get a little sneak peek into the HungerRush User Conference for 2020. They're going to give us the where, when, why, and how we can attend and get some of these questions that we have answered face-to-face. And then again, as I said, we will have a Q&A session at the very end, so submit your questions using the question tab on your dashboard. So, without further ado, let's get started. My first question is going to be for Kevin Spriggs. Thanks again for your time today, Kevin. I wanted to ask you, how's COVID-19 changed the way that HungerRush works with its customers? And, relatively past that, how HungerRush's customers are working with their customers now? Maybe you can kind of give us the before and after COVID-19.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the before is very important to discuss. So the company's been out for about 17 years. I've been here for 12 years, and we always operated on the philosophy of meeting our customers face to face. I think that was kind of the accepted model in the industry, where an installer would fly to your location and physically plug in the hardware, install the software, and train the customer. I don't think that we ever even thought about changing from that model because it worked. The issue with the model is it decreased the velocity in which we could install customers. And the average time frame was anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks, sometimes 4 to 6 weeks. If you're a business and you're in need, sometimes that just doesn't meet the time frame. So we had to figure out a way to increase that. So a lot of our customers were really in the delivery market, and we had customers who were in the dine-in sector as well, and we kind of grew that. And what we never planned for is a public health crisis where dine-in wasn't an option. And so all of our customers were primarily getting face-to-face interaction and never dreamed that that would, be prevented. Like I said, our lead times were anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and curbside was one of the things that was on the roadmap for Revention to do. We knew it was important. There's a certain sector of people that need it, want it, but we never prioritized it until COVID-19. So I'll kind of walk through some of the journeys of what changed with COVID-19. In the past, what we did was we would physically install it, train you, and then pass you off to our customer service center. And that's when you can get assistance any time of the day you called in. We looked at that model. We realized that we weren't going to be able to travel anymore, at least during the health crisis. We weren't going to be able to do face-to-face interactions. A lot of restaurants were closing their doors, and a lot of people were really nervous about how they're going to continue to operate and finance their business. And so the one thing that we saw an uptick in was online ordering. And Revention's had an online ordering for 12 years called with our online ordering platform. And that online ordering platform was very, very vital for a lot of businesses who never even dreamed about doing it. A lot of dine-in restaurants that were in small locations, small towns, who the majority of their clients really liked the face-to-face interaction with their waiters or waitresses, or just wanted to go watch a game and just never even thought online ordering would help. So I would tell you from the beginning of March 16th, when we really kind of rolled this out till January 1, we've enhanced or onboarded 100 customers who never had online ordering, built their website, did the graphic designs, figured out how we were going to support these customers, and we increased our velocity from 3 to 5 weeks to more to 3 to 5 days. And that, looking in hindsight at the data, that's very exciting for us because we can obviously become more nimble. We can fit the description of the customers who their system is completely down and they need us to implement and get them live again quickly and in a hurry. And we now have the ability to do that. So COVID-19 kind of changed the way that we do things with remote installations. The other thing I want to talk about is kind of a DoorDash drive. Ron Smallwood, who will come in just a moment, will kind of speak to some of the benefits of the DoorDash drive and his experience with it.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, on the DoorDash driver, the third-party delivery has been something that our customers have been needing, and so we accelerated that program due to the needs that came as part of this COVID-19 thing and the changes in the restaurant environment. So the DoorDash Drive gave us another option for delivery, and we also increased and accelerated our third-party delivery integrations. And we had just kicked it off, and we went ahead and accelerated that program and gave the opportunity for all of our customers to participate if they decided to try the third-party delivery systems that are fully integrated through our online ordering system.
Very nice. So Kevin, back to, I guess, just the post COVID-19. Were there any other topics that you guys, besides the DoorDash drive, which again, it seems like a lot of innovations and technology has been jump started or accelerated just because of the situation? What else are you guys doing on that front?
Sure. I think one of the things that's critical to talk about is business practices and what we're changing with the onboarding team, how remote installs kind of help with that. We relooked at some of the what we call moments that matter with touch customers and how we can improve them. Being that maybe not having the face-to-face interaction is going to be the new normal, and maybe the new normal is remote installing as long as we have participation from our clients who are willing to just plug in the hardware themselves. And as long as we have access to that hardware, we can do everything is like we're standing there. So our process right now is we have a project manager who does discovery and really try to understand the business outcomes of the business. Like, what are you looking to solve? What problems that you have with your last POS, and how quickly you're looking to move. Not only when the customer gets installed, we've now created a program for post-install to be able to train our customers basically the same way on certain universal truths that every customer is going to need to know, and then measure back that training and see how effective we are with letting our customers know about new features, giving them the value of the business and promoting that, and making sure their system is really, really well. So remote installs and that face-to-face interaction, we're finally going to be able to do a hybrid. And we're looking at other improvements to the product team that is going to make it very easy for our customers. Picture one day having the ability to do self-deployment, where we can send something to you and it's something you can install yourself because it's going to be easy, fast, with instructions and videos. And that's kind of what we're looking for the future. I would say that a lot of customers, not just the pizza delivery segment, a lot of dine-in restaurants, even places that sell donuts that never even run into online ordering, and they really see the value. And now that we're coming out of shelter-in-place orders, a lot of these customers have not canceled their service. They want to keep it because it's another revenue stream. And I think one of the things you really have to think about is, what if it happens again? Right? If you're primarily a dine-in business, if you ever have to shut your doors down, if you ever have to shut your doors again, without online ordering, not really sure how you're going to get the revenue that you need, right? And so curbside is another tool that we gave to our customers who did need that product. And I'll pass it off to Ron to talk about curbside.
Well, thank you, Kev. Yeah, curbside was one of those features that we were planning already, and we already had it in the works, but we frankly hadn't released it yet. And when March rolled around and the industry changed, and like Kevin was saying, some people were having to scramble around and find out how are we going to continue our business and not have dine-in and these kind of things. And even people that had online ordering had to figure out ways to solve the the customer interaction without touching the customer, I guess is a good way to put it. And so we released curbside right away. We do have the curbside that's up and running now. We have new features that are going to be added to that, which we're adding by the end of June. There'll be additional features to that. But I tell you, when we released it right away, we had many major brands, multiple rooftops moved to the curbside, and at least 1,000 rooftops right away went to it, and we have people adding it all the time.
Okay, well, I guess, Kevin, I wanted to ask you real quick, what are some of the important challenges that customers are facing with the transition from one POS to another?
Yeah, certainly. I would say the biggest thing is going to be a trust factor. I think a lot of people are very, very nervous about investing in a new piece of hardware, piece of software that they don't know anything about, and ensuring that it's going to work for them. So a lot of that is going to be trusting the vendor that you decided to be a partner with. I think how that trust is really established is by, standing by what you're going to do, delivering on the things that you said you were going to do. And I think that's one of the things that we do really well. We try to set expectations for the customer. I would say that, the majority of the time we get it right. There's some times where we've got to reset those expectations. But the one thing that a lot of customers would say about, our group is, we're really going to try. And if we can't do it, we're going to get very close. And I think that's probably the most important thing, is trusting the vendor and understand everything won't be perfect, but it's going to be good, or it's going to be great, or we're going to fix it. And I think that's important. Ron.
So you guys have your ear to the ground and you're listening to what your customers are telling you as far as, I don't want to say bugs, but something that might make their interaction with these POSs easier. I mean, you guys are very open to suggestion.
Yeah, we do surveys with our customers, and we take that information. A lot of times customers definitely do voice their opinions when they don't believe that there may be a better way to do something, or there's another feature that can enhance their business. We do submit them to our development team, and their ears are to the ground, and they're listening. We do develop a lot of our features based on customer requests.
Great. Ron, what are some of the other challenges that the customers are facing right now? You want to speak to that a little bit?
Well, absolutely. The key off of what Kevin has said about building trust and actually promoting the value of the product and the services we offer. It is very important for us to be in communication and back and forth with the customer to understand what their needs are, what goals they're trying to accomplish, and what features we have, and make sure they understand those features. So we've added things like post installation and customer success and things of that nature, because we have to make sure that this interaction with the customer is a back and forth positive interaction. We keep that interaction going so they clearly understand the differences of how a different POS may achieve some goals that our full solution also achieves, but how to do that, whether that's reporting, whether that's above store monitoring, whether that's moving to loyalty, whatever that option might be. So we need to manage the expectations of the customer, provide all the information they need, and make sure that we're right there along with them to make recommendations and suggestions into what options and features we have to help their solution.
Sorry, I just had a little bit of I had to unmute myself there. What does some of the your customer support programs look like? And actually, you know what? Somebody actually put something up there, a question, and I wanted to kind of get this. It had to do with maybe some of the is from Tim Martin. He said, what kind of improvements we're going to curbside? I'm not sure if that would be a question for Ron or Kevin. Just kind of a little brief before we move on too fast, but I mean, just briefly run down some of those things.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, I can fill that one. So we are adding, because the way we first implemented it was the original way we designed it was formed around the KDSs. So of course we realized not everybody has a KDS, a kitchen display system. So then we moved to adding the printer as well. And then of course we have, when would the customer outline what kind of car they have or describe their description of the car and the color and things like that. Right now we have that at checkout only. So, and then there's a link on the email that gets sent to a customer that when they arrive, they can reply to that, and that'll send into the kitchen that they've arrived. So we're enhancing all that, the ease of finding it, where it's at, adding it to the apps, moving it up the page where it is on the email response, on the confirmation email from the online ordering. So we're adding some enhancements like that.
Okay. Great. So what does your customer support program look like? What can be expected from HungerRush on the customer support side?
Well, one of the things on the customer support side, well, let me, if I can, we'll talk about some of the learning curves, because I think that's going to feed into the customer support side. Because one of the things we discovered on the customer journey, if someone goes to sales and then they go to installation and they would just go to support. Well, sometimes there would be a gap in there, because we really need to understand this interaction with our customers that we're looking to build and increase that interaction. So we really understand what they're trying to achieve, what their goal is, how are they running their business and their brand. And one of the things we added to this journey was post installations, a very important part of it. It's really been a great successful piece of our customer journey. And what they do is it can last anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, and they have one-on-ones with the customer. And the goal is that they're combing the customer system with the customer. Is it been configured right? Is the correct features turned on? Do they have what they need? Do we need to make a recommendation to them? We have FAQs, and we're looking at the case management as we're going through this program, because the goal is to ultimately graduate the customer from this. And to graduate them, that has to be a team or a concerted effort with the customer. So we got to make sure that they are in a good place. They understand the system. They're ready to move on. And then once they do move on to the support, that we've done that handoff smoothly. And we'll talk more about the customer support model in just a moment. But then also we're increasing the customer success piece, so that we can expand that, which has been also successful, but we need to expand it across our whole customer base. And we're looking to do that to, again, increase the communication, increase the knowledge, and being able to share new features, new options, new modules, and make sure that the customer has the options they need to be successful.
All right, yeah, I actually just got super excited there about what the customer support program is looking at. I appreciate you reeling me back in there. So, I mean, at this point, you guys have been learning as you've done this merger, and, you're just trying to figure out where you're going to go and how to get there the best. I mean, what else goes along with that? I mean, it is part of the customer support program, right?
Yes, sir. And the customer support program, Brian, and that is a very, very big piece of what we do. Again, along that customer journey, once we get to the customer support side, we have to be ready to handle the customer's needs, and time's always of the essence. Customers don't want to have to call in a lot of times, or if they do, they want their problem handled quickly. So like we've already mentioned a couple of times, we listen, we look at the surveys, positive and negative. We review each and every one of them, and we take that feedback seriously. And we've added things like we monitor every single call. We listen to it. We have them all recorded, and then we use a QA program that we've also added. So the QA program actually rates an agent's call with a customer, and we use that as part of our ongoing training and agent training. And through our growth as a company, we've increased our agent training so that we have a layered approach, so we can bring a person in, get their experience ramped up to where they can take a call and handle a call, and then we have additional higher levels agents that have more education and more experience with the system, because the goal is we want a successful call. We want a customer to call in, and if all possible, I call it a one-call scenario. They call in one time and they get their problem fixed. And we're able to meet that goal the majority of the time, but sometimes you do have to escalate things. Sometimes it's because we've also classified cases. So if it's a serious problem, we call it a priority one. So if a store's down, can't take orders, can't take payments, if the initial frontline agent can't resolve that, we're going to do a warm handoff to an agent with more experience, a higher level agent, so that we get that resolved as quickly as possible. Because the goal is that our customers are able to run their business and be successful at it. And if you know, computers and things can have problems, and we want to resolve that as quickly as possible. So we monitor all of our calls. We have a case structure that we review, frankly, daily. We're looking at how quickly we answer the calls. We know that's important. We don't want somebody on hold for a long period of time before an agent even picks up. So our target's 60 seconds. Our average is under 50. Now, there's going to be the spikes at call time, you know, maybe during lunch or sometime where somebody could experience a longer time than that. But the average is below 60, actually below 50, and we monitor that closely. And along that line, what we're looking for is when we schedule our staffing, how we manage that, because this is a bell curve that swings and moves. I mean, lunchtime and dinner time are always going to be, you know, high volume times, but because of time zones, that kind of wiggles back and forth. So we have to watch that constantly, listen to the customer's feedback, monitor our calls, make sure our agents are trained. We do ongoing training even with our advanced agents, so we can talk about train them about new features, new systems, new processes, so we can get more efficient, and continue to monitor the agent's feedback through our survey program to make sure we're achieving that goal and meeting the customer's expectations. And one of the things we've done along those lines is to we created a customer-facing knowledge base. Our customers reached out and said, hey, we would like an opportunity to do some self-help. So we have the customer-facing knowledge base, and we also train our agents to teach the customer self-help. Like if the issue can be resolved through the user interface, when our agents log in, the customers can see what they're doing. And they're encouraged and trained to show the customer how to fix it. So if the customer's comfortable with it or can do it, they can fix it themselves, hopefully, you know, if it's not too serious of a problem. And then if it's something they've seen before but can't remember exactly how, they have an opportunity to use the knowledge base, and a lot are. And some have given us feedback on adding videos to that. We update that knowledge base on a regular basis, pretty much daily. We're giving updates to the customer-facing knowledge base.
Well, and so, you know, I just wanted to ask you, I mean, I think I asked Kevin this earlier too. You guys have got your ear to the ground, and you're taking a lot of suggestion and all that from your actual customer base to refine this knowledge base. Maybe it's something that you guys hadn't thought of that people are having an issue with. I mean, is it very easy for somebody to kind of reach out to you and say, hey, I'm having an issue with this, and you add that to your knowledge base?
Well, yeah, what we do is thank you for that, Brian, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're monitoring the cases, and we look at the case trends. And I mean, we really started with kind of what we had experienced in the past and that customers needed. So we had to start somewhere, right? And how we add to that is exactly what you're saying. We're looking at what are people calling in about? What is the trend now? Has it moved? Is it printers? Is it card readers? Is it, how do I set this feature in the system? You know, do I need to turn on staging or something like that? So that's exactly right. That's what we do. We look at our cases, and the customers also provide us feedback. It'd be nice if we had this piece, or if that was in the knowledge base, and we had it.
Okay. So, you know, I guess moving on to the next slide, what's next on the horizon for HungerRush? I know there's something you mentioned earlier, I think, drive, is it driver or drive offer?
Drive, yes sir. Thank you for mentioning that. We again, listening to our customers and looking at the market trend, looking at what's going on out there. Our customers needed a way to manage their drivers better than what they had now. So we've added a product to our hub solution, and that's called Drive. And that gives our managers or the stores managers ability to monitor all their drivers, see where they're at. Are they on the way to the delivery, on the way back? How many orders do they have with them? We've added the reporting people have asked for. The drivers add an app to their phone, and that's how it goes. That's how we're able to work it back and forth. We can send them directions, monitor to see if they're following those directions, those paths. And the feedback we've gotten so far from the customers that have adopted this early on are that it's raising their customer sat scores, and that tends to increase return business. It also helps them to really save on labor costs because they know exactly how many drivers they need. They
Right.
see what the drivers are doing. Are they being efficient? And then they can see which drivers are the top performers, and they add incentives around that. So it's been very successful.
I mean, is that easy to integrate? Like you said, it goes, I guess, through Hub, which is formerly
Yes, sir.
Enterprise, but it's one of those things where it's almost like plug and play for everybody, and then they get all this extra data that, like you said, helps save labor. And it's not even like tattler information. It's one of those things where it's information that's going to help you guys do better.
Yeah, Brian, it does. It helps the customer be more efficient and their operation be more efficient. So it is a tool that you add to Hub, and it's basically plug and play. I mean, of course, our side, if a customer decides to try it, we turn it on and set it up for them, and there's instructions that go along with that. But the customer just puts it on an iPad or whatever they decide to use at the store, and man, they're off and running, and they can track all their drivers, and it's a nice program. Brian, I think you may have a question for me, but I'm gonna mention an upcoming conference that we have coming. We're really excited about. We haven't sent out the registration information yet, but we have a virtual users conference coming up on September 1st. Really encourage everybody to sign up. It's going to be a great update on the system, new features, things of that nature. And we'll have subject matter experts available during the conference to answer questions. So we're excited about it. We'll be sending the registration information. We encourage everybody to come and join. And guys, with that, I think we're gonna look and see if we have any questions coming in through the chat. Emily, have you been monitoring any of the questions for us?
Hi there. Yes, this is Emily in the background. I think Brian was having some connectivity issues, so let me go ahead and help him out here. Let's see.
Hello.
We have.
I'm
Hey,
here.
Brian.
I'm so sorry, guys. Apologies. I do not control the interwebs, so they kick me off. But I kind of wanted to just jump over. I guess, did you already talk about the sneak peek about the conference coming up in 2020?
Yes, sir, I did. Thank you for mentioning it. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sticking around. I do again apologize for that. So I guess at this point, now we're going to jump over to the Q&A session here with Kevin and Ron. We do have some questions from some people I didn't get to at the very beginning, but again, as I promised, we will get them answered. Steve Jennings he said he missed what RMS stands for. Is it Relationship Management Software Service? Software/service?
Restaurant management solutions. So we can show that we are more than just a POS. We're the above store, like you were mentioning earlier. We have above store management. We have, third-party integrations. We have loyalty programs. We have a Drive now and things like that. So it's a full solution.
Well, that also, I think, goes along with Steve's first question, is HungerRush a part of prevention? And I did kind of gloss over that, but I mean, there was a merger because basically, as I had said, that the term POS was, I don't want to say limiting, but I mean, it kind of was specifically focused, and you guys do so much more than that. So how did prevention merge with and or become HungerRush?
Okay. You want to take that one, Craig, or you want me to?
Yeah, so, in 2018, we were bought out by a private equity firm. And when that happened, we merged with another company called CRS. CRS has multiple offices in all different parts of the country. and we blended kind of the best of both worlds. And we had a product called HungerRush, which is now our online ordering platform, and we just rebranded the name, so there's no more Revention as a brand name or CRS as a brand name. We're now branded as HungerRush, and we're moving away from being known as a POS and now being known as a restaurant solutions that offers multiple things to clients, across the country.
Restaurant management solutions. I like it. It's, just make it easier. Also, we talked about, Tim was asking what kind of improvements were made to the curbside. So I believe Ron actually answered that. Steve actually asks again, do you guys accept SMS/text? Now I asked him how. Do you guys integrate that as far as maybe messaging through texting? I wasn't sure. I was waiting for his clarification. But I mean, do you guys?
If he's talking about for online ordering, we don't do that right now, although we do have an integration with the third-party aggregator that does have SMS text messaging to be able to place an online order. So that is an opportunity if somebody is participating part of that. They got to, once you have online ordering, if you move on to the next layer and get that third-party integration, that is an option if that's what they're referring to for SMS text online ordering.
Yeah, I think that's, he did respond and said that I think that's what he was going for, but he also had a follow-up that says, same question for phone orders. How do you guys integrate telephone takeout orders? Is that something they'd have to completely move on from what they had and get it from you, or do you integrate well with any other kind of phone system they have, or do you have your own special phone system? I'm assuming, Steve. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, did you want to go, Ron? Or?
Well, Kev, go ahead and run with this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we work with any phone system. It's fine. I guess it really would depend on the features that you were looking for. I think this kind of deserves kind of a conversation so I can understand what your needs are. But what I would say is our caller ID feature, and I'm not sure if that's what you're really looking for. We have two different types of caller ID that does give you functionality into customers that are calling in, order history, being able to look up their order quickly, being able to see how fast are you answering your phone, looking at trends. Are you getting more calls during 1 and 3 than you are during 7 and 9? Reporting on that, who's answering the phone. If you have any bad actors that are hanging up on customers, you can see that. But if that doesn't answer your question, we're open to having a conversation with you and fleshing it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'd be expecting a lot of questions from him. Let me see. We had another one here. Can you elaborate on the customer surveys? Will this show the satisfaction scores for the quality of food and delivery? I mean, are the surveys pretty customizable as far as like what kind of information you're trying to gather from everybody, or is it mainly performance based as far as like the order taker?
Kevin, you want me to run with that one?
Why don't we partner it? Because there's two types of surveys, right? There's the call center and then.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll take the call center part first, and Kevin's absolutely right, and thank you for that, Kevin. That's exactly right. So the part that I was talking about and we were mentioning is actually a survey that we send to our customers whenever they call into our support center and we open and close a case. It generates that survey out to the customer to ask, how did HungerRush do in a few different areas, if you will, on that call, on that issue. So that's us interacting directly with our customer, as opposed to a survey that I think you may have been mentioning, or part of your question was out to the customer. So again, that the survey I was referencing had to do directly to our customers calling in and a reaction to a support case being closed.
And to tie into what Ron was saying, so there's two types of surveys. There's the transactional surveys that happen when a customer calls in for a question on training, or they need assistance to the call center, and that's a survey at the end of every call just to know how the agent did. And then there's a survey about your onboarding experience that happens. That's usually through a phone, just to gauge how's everything working. Can you grade different areas of the process and tell us how we've done? Your participation is going to be critical in that, because we can't improve without you. We won't have there's not that opportunity to improve without feedback. The other thing that we're looking to do, you guys will see in the future, is NPS scores that are going to come to all of our customers to kind of grade us not just on a single experience, overall experience of the company, so we can take that feedback, listen to our customers, and execute on those requests.
And if I can add to all that as well, Kevin, if that question also had to do with a survey about food quality that a restaurateur might add, or their customers may want to fill out, there are third-party survey systems for that, and we can tie that response into our confirmation email that says your food has been delivered. And we can tie, and we have a lot of our customers that use those, and we tie links in there so a customer can say, hey, my food was great, or it wasn't, and because I know y'all need to know those kind of things as well, or it was late, or whatever. So so there's that piece as well.
All right, yeah, I mean, it sounds all encompassing, any aspect of the business, from the customer, from your customer's experience to you as the customer of HungerRush. It sounds like you guys cover everything, and that's what I really like. What I'm hearing right now is that you guys are doing a lot of listening to. You understand that you can't make a better product if you don't listen to what your customer's input is. So I did have a question from Tim Martin. He says, I have frozen. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That's not the question. He wanted to know about using SMS inside your loyalty program. So I would assume if you have that built-in loyalty program, is there, I don't know if it was necessarily answered in the last one. I know you do have some SMS integration, you said, but do you guys merge those two concepts right there, loyalty program with SMS messaging?
Currently today, no, but it is on the roadmap. It is something that development has talked about, and I think it's something that we are going to do in the future. But I don't want to give a definitive answer on that. It's on the table. I can say that.
Okay. Well, again, I like how you guys have the roadmap and you put it out there and let people know what you're thinking about. And to that extent, Kevin, what maybe one of the things that you're most excited about that's in development that may be coming out soon, or that you guys are trying to develop for your customers? What's the thing that's got you just really excited right now?
Well, I can answer that. It's just I would say the ability to do self-deployments. I am extremely excited about that. That's going to require a product enhancement in a lot of areas. There's training videos, there's documentation that's going to happen into it. There's a lot of planning for that. And basically what that really helps is a lot of our customers and our tentacles to reach the customer is just going to be so expansive to be able to just send product out and the customer can plug it in like an iPhone and it's ready to go. And all the training materials they need right there. And they're still backed by staff that are on standby if they need that person-to-person attention to help them with their needs. That's there as well. But for those customers that may be a little bit more advanced in the IT sector or have been in restaurants for a long time and understand how it works, we don't want to hold you back. You guys are ready to go and you guys want something that works well and you can self-deploy it. That's what I'm most excited about.
Awesome. Well, I want to kind of pose the same but slightly different question to you, Ron, is that maybe not something that's coming up that's super exciting, but what is your favorite part about what HungerRush is providing to its customers right now? What do you think is the most important feature that you're super excited about and you see the most promise from, I should say? I mean, obviously the whole thing's promising, but what's the best feature that you guys are doing right now that you're super proud of?
Well, I think it's online ordering, and there's so much coming down the pipe when it has to do with online ordering, because the reality is that the face of the industry is changing, and whether we go back through another lockdown or a particular area does, and none of us know what that's going to look like. Online ordering is going to be so important, and all the pieces that tie with that, and that's what's really exciting as well. Not only the curbside that we've already talked about, the fact that we're adding features to that. We also have push notifications that we just enabled, and that's so people can notify their customers through the loyalty program of upcoming event, like whatever, buy one get one free Mondays or whatever that looks like, so they can push that out to people that have the mobile apps. We're going to redo our user interface on our online ordering system. We, again, from feedback we've had from our customers, we're going to redesign that whole thing, which gives people more flexibility in what their website looks like, their own control of that, and the user interface that ties in with that. We have a lot of pieces going on with our online ordering. It's really exciting. I think our customers are very, very happy about it. And then we have a lot of other, other pieces we're adding as well, like Drive. But again, that at the end, Drive ties back to online ordering. That's your delivery system as part of that. So yeah, it's really exciting. We have a lot of things coming down the pipe. A lot of things we've released recently. Group ordering, another thing tied to online ordering, that's been released as well. So it's an exciting year for us, and there's more to come.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a very enthusiastic answer. I like that. I mean, it shows me that you believe in it, and it's exciting. If it's exciting for you, it's going to be exciting for us. We're kind of wrapping up here, guys. I wanted to say I do appreciate all your time and attention and all the questions you've asked. If you have any last-minute questions, now's the time to put them in. We'll get Ron and Kevin to answer them. But I did kind of want to say, I want to ask kind of both of you, or just as a tag team, what is the most important thing an operator should be looking to do right now? Should it be transitioning to getting a better online ordering system, or what is the best first piece of advice you would give somebody to navigate this new normal? Take turns. I don't care.
So I was going to say they have to be ready to adapt. I mean, you got to be able to move on your feet, whether that means you need to reduce the size of your menu because, you're in a lockdown situation, you don't have as many orders coming in, so you don't have as much staff. So you got to have that, that streamlined menu that I know that a lot of operators like to have the specials and the large menu. Be ready to move on your feet because of the environment. Got to have online order ready to go. I mean, even that's something you haven't done in the past, you got to be ready. And if you have had it in the past, you've got to be ready to add the pieces to it, like loyalty and curbside and Drive and all those other things, and be looking at maybe looking at third-party aggregators for, the DoorDash and Grow Hubs and things like that, possibly. I mean, it's so much regionally based. It depends on where an operator is at. But if they're ready to move on their feet, and if they're ready to think differently than they have in the past, those are the ones that we've seen be successful, and those are the ones that have really come out I don't know if I can say the other side of this thing. I don't think that's a fair statement, but at least where we're at now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say my answer is right in line with Ron. I mean, the thing to think about is whether you're a restaurant or a person, if you lost your primary income, what's next? And that's what you all need to be prepared for.
Just as a lot of times on all the live updates I do for PMQ, it's evolve and adapt. It's a new model, and that's, we're not returning to normal. We are reinventing how we do it. So you got to be flexible. I did get another question from Steve. So I like this one too. It's what if the restaurant has a mobile app for ordering? Can you integrate with the mobile app? I know you guys said you can integrate with you work well with most other kind of apps. I mean, what do you suggest, or what are your functionalities as far as somebody who has an existing online, I guess a mobile app, if they already have one?
What I would say is, we've had customers who've had the same thing. I mean, there's just right now, you would have to get another app. We would develop that app for you. I mean, there's really very little work for you. It's really just signing a piece of paper and letting us know you want it, and then we'll set it up for you. The unfortunate part is your customers will have to download another app, but once they download it, it's there forever, and it doesn't go anywhere, and most likely works better than what they have. I mean, at least that's my hope.
Okay. And actually, there's kind of a follow-up to that question, is that can you explain how the system can use DoorDash, Grubhub, and still keep customer data? Because you'd mentioned that you can work with those, but I mean, you're still getting all the customer data you used to, or?
Well, that's one of the trade-offs, and that's an industry thing, and that's come up when I've gone to some of the conferences out there where our operators go as well. The Mertex and the Pizza Expos and all those kinds of things, where that question has come up, and that's an excellent question, and the answer is not going to be as excellent. Because the fact of the matter is, if somebody does integrate to a DoorDash, and since we have built the integrations, if they go through one of our third-party integrator partners, that order can go from DoorDash straight through our online ordering system and into their kitchen. So we've made that seamless. They don't have to use those pads. They don't have to type the order back in the system and things like that. But you lose that customer data. That's a fact, and that's one of the things that DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats and Dine-In and all of those. They also have restrictions around people, and some of them putting like flyers inside the bags and stuff like that to suggest them to go to their own direct website. Although I would assume people do it anyway. But that's one of the things you give up. Now, if you're in an area that those third-party or those third-party delivery companies are actually third-party online ordering companies have really dug in hard, and that's where people are ordering through, then I mean you've got to be willing to adjust to that. But you do give up some of that branding, and you give up some of that customer data, because if they're not ordering directly through your online system, HROO, then you won't have that data. All you know is an order appeared and they come and pick it up.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's okay. Well, that actually is another good reason to, I don't want to say move away from them, but customer data is important, so
it is. It is, and Brian, I'll tell you that is a great point. But there's some places, and it's really regionally based, and it depends on how well your current online ordering system, how mature it is, and how many people know it, or how well you advertise it, how well you market your online ordering system. Because the fact is, if somebody is maybe new in an area and these other third-party online ordering systems are dug in, I mean, to increase your business, your sales is also important. So our goal was to give people the opportunity to do both. And at the end of the day, we have some customers that don't use those at all, and some customers, because of the region they're in, they frankly had no choice but to go to them.
Well, it sounds like there's a real push, or not a real push, but just a real logical reasoning behind getting towards something that you guys built that works seamlessly with all your other functions right now. Especially just keep the data. Just to keep that data, you need that. There's just a couple last questions real quick, and I mean they're both the same. One's from Trisha and one's from Krista, and honestly, these sound like they're going to be other questions that you guys need to have private conversations about. Trisha was wondering what the cost of the mobile app is, and Krista was wanting to know who she can contact about getting an app through you guys. She's been having a hard time getting in touch with you. So where do they reach out to you guys? How can they get these questions answered? And of course, we'll have this, and I will make sure Trisha and Krista that you were both reached out to personally. But what is the best way to get in touch with you guys if people have questions about apps, pricing, functionality, anything like that?
Yeah, I would say that our commercial team is probably where it starts. Everything starts with them. We have an account manager. As long as we know who you are, we'll get them to contact you. I mean, that's the easiest answer. I mean, so that's the answer. We'll get someone to contact you.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah, and we do have all your information right now for this webinar. So, like again, Trisha and Krista, I will make sure that you guys are put to the top of the list to be reached out to, and all your questions can be answered. What is like the final word for the industry right now? Why it's so important to do this pivot from either Kevin, Ron, or both of you guys, and then we'll let everybody go. Well, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna hold on to that one. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Has there been? I did get another question here from Michael Garibaldi. Got it in the last second. Has there been any talk of integrating ghost kitchen functionality into an existing restaurant that is already set up in HungerRush? So I think I know what he's talking about is just having one restaurant, but you can have 3 different menus as far as the ghost kitchen. So if you're a pizza place that has salads and somebody's just looking for a salad, they're not going to look up your pizza place, obviously. Is there integration that you guys can have that if they already have if you already have a restaurant set up in HungerRush, can you integrate ghost kitchens?
Kevin, do you know?
I'm not sure about that answer, but we can get the answer. I mean, I got the question. We can get the answer.
Okay, and I guess I'm also Jamie Schwartz, who's with HungerRush as well. She says let them know that Jamie will personally follow up with anyone that has more questions. That's all right, Jamie, because I was going to make sure that you were the one who had to reach out to them anyway. But I guess I assume she's talking about this, that this is something that you guys have talked about, integrating ghost kitchens into existing HungerRush customers. It's something they consider for later this year. It's not set in stone, but that's just what she's letting us know. So, you know, it's ghost kitchens are something that I've been hearing a lot lately, and I'm actually talking with a guy tomorrow on a PMQ live update that's doing 3 different concepts from one building. So anyway, it's a big thing. So hopefully you guys are going to hit that.
I just wasn't sure of the answer. I'm glad Jamie stepped in.
And there's nothing wrong with not knowing. I mean, that's what I like about you guys is that if you don't know, you find out, and you make changes accordingly based on customer feedback. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Anyone last thing that you want to just tell the industry real quick before we go? And I do appreciate everybody's time and attention. We're going to get out of here real quick, but just, you know, positive affirmation. I always like to leave these things with a positive affirmation. Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would leave this conversation with thank everybody for their time and attention in investing in our company. You know, whether you're currently a client or potentially looking, you know, it's always appreciated when people are taking the time out to hear what we have to say. So thank you for that. I would say online ordering is probably one of the most important things that everyone should move to, just due to the fact that the future is unpredictable. You know, everything could go back to the new normal or not, you know, and you never know. So make sure you have a lot of different avenues to have revenue coming in. Online ordering is one. Or if you're looking to just be able to manage your business remotely without having to go to the store, if you're an absentee owner because you have another job, we do have a hub solution that allows you to see all of your reporting, and we're updating that thing constantly to be able to finally be able to manage your business and do everything that you can do at the store above store. And that's where I would leave it.
Perfect.
And to echo what Kevin has said, thank everyone for coming today. We really appreciate your time, and hope that we were able to give y'all some insight and answer your questions, and the couple that I know we have some follow-ups on. I also agree that, look, the online ordering and the additional modules and feature sets that HungerRush is offering, it's a really exciting year for us, for all of our customers, our new customers, our customers that are about to join us. We have a full suite of offerings now, and we're adding and enhancing those as we're going along. It's really an exciting time for our company, and I think that makes it an exciting time for our customers. So thank you for your time today.
All right, and I definitely want to thank you for your time, Kevin and Ron, both of you guys. Also, Jamie Swartz she chimed in at the very end again there, and I think what she said is it's great. Basically, you're always listening to the customer feedback and adjusting, you know, as you get high interest from you. Basically, you're listening to what people are saying and you're making adjustments there, because if people are saying it, they obviously want it. And she says one of the things that you guys do there very well is that you're agile. You're always ready to be able to move and change and make things better. So that's what all of us are having to do right now, you know, evolve and adapt, which is that final message I think you both said. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, all your questions and comments. They have been monitoring all the questions, so they will get back to you for some of those private conversations. And, you know, we'll see you guys next time at the PMQ webinar series. But once more, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Ron, and the whole HungerRush team. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. But until then, you know, be safe and be sane.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Everybody be good.